This is a high-intensity interval training workout with a lower body focus for your ovulatory phase. This is that midway point in the cycle where you're approaching or going through ovulation. You have estrogen hormones at their highest levels. We have a surge of testosterone, and this hormonal cocktail can leave us feeling magnetic, like we are glowing from the inside out. So we're using this time where we do have higher energy, we have a bit of quicker recovery times and a lower baseline metabolism. We're using that inner chemistry and leveraging it to exert a bit more during our workout, to move into that vigorous working zone and challenge our conditioning and muscular endurance when our body is ready for it, so that we don't risk resource depletion and so that we can preserve energy levels and leave the workout feeling more energized than when we started. Today's workout is an interval training practice, so we have kind of a different structure. So each working interval is broken up into two parts. We're using a weighted interval with heavy weight for the legs, and then pairing that with a body weight explosive movement pattern, and then followed by a very brief period of rest. So in the ovulatory phase, we can get away with shorter rest periods. I would recommend going heavy. I'm using a set of 20-pound dumbbells, and you want something that's going to challenge your lower body. Then you can move into the body weight pattern. I'll offer low impact options for that too, if you want to start or alternate between those depending on what you need throughout the workout. And that's also a practice in the ovulatory phase with estrogen and testosterone peaking. We can sort of flirt with the ego a bit. We get into that space where we might be pushing ourselves beyond our limits. So have that conversation throughout. Let yourself course correct. Know that whatever you choose in the beginning doesn't have to be what you choose throughout the entire workout. So use this as self-care by having that conversation with your ego and being gentle with it. So it's not a fight. We're not pushing up against the ego, but we're really just sort of engaging with it and keeping it integrated. This workout does include a warm-up in the beginning and a cool down at the end. But if you are short on time and you're coming in warmed up, or you have your own way that you like to cool down after a workout, please feel free to skip those elements and just stick with us for the core 30-minute workout of today's practice. Let's get started. We are going to jump right in with our total body warm up to get us ready for this high intensity, lower body focused workout. We'll begin at the back of your mat with some simple walkouts just to connect body and breath, to check in and see how we're feeling. With an inhale, sweep your arms overhead, take a big breath. And as you exhale, very generous bend in the knees, fold over your legs, begin to walk the hands out to a strong plank. Hug the heels of the hands toward the balls of the feet for a moment, and then slowly walk the hands back to the feet, gentle bend as you rise, reach the arms overhead. Straight back down, exhale, nice bend in the knees, walk the hands out, just kind of feeling into the spine, the hips, the belly. Begin to walk your hands back towards your feet with an exhale, and then inhale, rise. And last time like this, exhale, walking the hands out nice and slow. And back in, hands to feet, rolling the body up, reaching up, big breath. And as you exhale, hands come back down by your sides. I'll turn to face you here. Let your hands come to each other here. So you're stacking them one on top of the other. And it's just a simple march here. So we're keeping the hands as they are, nice and elevated, and allowing the hip flexors to warm up, to activate here. So we're just side to side, tapping, marching. Feel a bit of lightness in your step. This is the ovulatory phase, so we have access to our explosive power. We can enjoy a bit more exertion without as much depletion, slower metabolism. We've got that surge of testosterone working for us. And the next time that your right knee is elevated, hold the right knee into your chest. Hug it in as close as you can. Keep the chest lifting, find a bit of balance here. So really kind of stretching into the hip and stabilizing through that standing leg. So tapping into all the muscles that support these larger muscles in the legs. Bring your hands to your hips. Then begin to circle that knee out to the side and around, creating a bit of fluidity in the hip joint. Switch directions now. So coming into the body, you might feel one direction is a bit sticky, whereas one is a little easier. And then the next time that you're coming in, cross that right leg over left. Reach your arms up, big inhale. Take your right fingertips around your left hand and lean up and over to the right. Big side body stretch here. Breathe into the rib cage, let it inflate. And slowly releasing that, uncross the legs. This time hug your left knee into chest. Keeping the spine upright, long and strong. You might circle the ankle a bit. We do have some explosive movement patterns, so really getting the feet, the shins, the calves ready for movement here. And then begin to turn and circle the hips, so hands can come wherever they need to be for balance. They can be out wide if that serves you better. And then back in, switching directions here. And find that side body stretch. Cross your left leg over right. Reach the arms up. Take your right wrist in your left hand. Lean up and over to the left. Nice deep bend in the left knee. So really focusing now on the right side. And then as you come back through center, interlace the fingers, gentle bend in the knees as you press the palms toward the sky and hug your upper arm bones toward the ears. So the goal here is to get a bit of mobility in the shoulders if you can, bringing the upper arm bones aligned or even a bit behind the ears without puffing the low ribs. So start early with that core engagement. Bring your hands behind your head. Let your elbows come out wide. Press your head into your hands. Lift your chest skyward. Draw the belly in. Move your sitting bones just gently toward the inner heels so you have that neutral, low spine. Then as you release this, find opposite elbows behind you. So taking opposite elbows, just finding a bit of stretch for the shoulders here. And then allow your right ear to find your right shoulder. Next stretch. So we are working into the lower body, which means we are holding heavier weights. So we're just creating a bit of length in the shoulders and the neck so that we can keep that switch sides as we go through. Big breaths here, committing to that connection. And then gently release that. Reach your arms overhead. Gently fold over your legs in a deep squat. So I'll turn to the side so you can see me here. Take your feet a bit wider than hips width distance. Sit back into the hips. So hinging at the hips, bending the knees deeply, reach the arms forward, deep squat. And then as you exhale, straighten the legs any amount, fold over your legs into an extension. So alternate between those two patterns here. Deep squat, reaching forward, belly to thighs. And then keep the belly to thighs as you straighten the legs and tip forward any amount. The hips stay over the heels here. Inhale. Just getting the legs ready, the hips ready. Exhale, fold. Last one like this. Inhale. And exhale, fold. From here, step your left foot back into a lunge. Keep the left hand planted, spin the right arm open, find rotation in the spine here. Let the hips stay nice and square and separate the thigh bones. So move the right shin forward, left heel back. Let that right hand come down, back knee touches the mat, untuck the toes. As you slowly rise up, press your hands to your front thigh. Let the right shin move forward and the left thigh descend. So you feel some space and stretch across the hip flexor. And then release the hands. We'll switch sides. Step your back foot forward, right foot back this time. Keep the right hand planted. Twist the left arm open. Again, finding that rotation deep in the upper back, those hard to reach places. Let that left hand come down, right knee touches down, untuck the toes, rise up in a lunge. Take your hands to your left thigh now, encouraging the left shin forward. And a bit of a back bend here just to create that sensation in the right hip flexor complex, the psoas. And then slowly release the hands down. Step the back foot forward. You can let your toes turn slightly out, heels turn slightly in as you rise up, reach the arms. And just a few air squats here to finish as you exhale, lower down. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, lower down. Find your breath here. We've got 5 more like this. Just getting the legs, the body, the heart ready for movement. Last 3, 2, and 1. Excellent job. Shake it out, and you are ready to move. Now that we're warmed up, we are going to jump right into this high-intensity interval training workout. Make sure you have your challenging set of weights ready to go. I'll keep time for you. All you have to do is focus on your breath and your mechanics and be present through the next 28, 29 minutes or so. So once I start my timer now, we'll have about 20 seconds to set up. Our first movement is going to be a weighted step back lunge. So you can set yourself up, get your weights where you need them. And we're going to be doing just a simple step back lunge, alternating with our body weight jump lunges. So the pattern today in 5 seconds is a weighted movement pattern followed by an explosive body weight pattern. Here we go. So we're stepping back. You need not be a big step. We've got heavy weight here, so keep the stance a bit short so that you can use the power in the legs. So the front knee directly over the ankle, the back hip is directly over the back knee. So it's not a really wide lunge here. That can create a bit of strain in the hip flexors and the groin. So focus on your strength, just stepping forward and back. The upper body stays pretty still through this entire movement pattern. So the shoulders are relaxed, the belly is drawing in to support your low back, and it's fluid. So you exhale on the exertion and inhale as you go back and rest. Drop those weights. We go right into our next interval. It's jump lunges. So it's here. Low impact is a step forward and back, but keep it quick. Let it move fast. We're only here for 25 seconds, and then we have our rest. So it's a jump lunge and rest. So that's our rhythm for this first set. We have 4 rounds. We do our weighted movement pattern, and then we go right into the explosive pattern before our rest interval. So we'll start again with our step back lunges in 5. Gather your breath, soften your shoulders. We got this. And go. Stepping back. So the back knee just hovers over the ground. Need not touch, or it can be a light tap. So notice as you get tired, do your shoulders start to kind of hunch up, or do you hold tension somewhere? Can you let that go so that you're not exerting any more than you have to? Keep the belly hugging to spine. Keep the chest elevated here so that you can take those deep, full breaths to fuel your muscles for this higher demand, this higher intensity. Going to jump lunges. Now set your weights down, right into it. Find your power. Again, take the low impact option. If you need it, you can always alternate between one and the other. It's only 25 seconds, so really dig deep. This is the phase to find your power. And rest. We've got our 20-second rest here, and then we're right back in to our third round of this unilateral movement pattern. So these are great for correcting imbalance from left to right. And we're right into it now. Step back lunge. So you can keep the pace as quick as feels good for you. So as quick as you can go while maintaining excellent form. If you notice that your form starts to be compromised, just slow it down. Catch your balance, recalibrate, and then jump right back in. So we've got these, and then we go right into our jump lunges. Steady breath. These ovulatory phase workouts, we don't have a lot of rest in between. We're staying in the elevated heart rate zone. Quicker recovery to challenge conditioning. All right, into the jump lunges. Here we go. Again, your low impact option is just stepping back with quickness. Find power. So power is both exertion and speed. So can you tap into both of those here? Explode up. Quick movements, side to side. And rest. May have gone a little long on that one. So we've got our last round of this lunge pattern here. Enjoy your rest, and then we'll finish strong in 2, 1. Stepping back and together. So you've got a challenging weight here for the lower body. I love working the muscles of the lower body during the ovulatory phase, because no matter what you do, it's challenging. We're recruiting the largest muscle groups in the body and really letting the heart rate move into that vigorous working zone, and we stay there. Nice and slow. We're getting ready for our last round of split jumps here. Here we go. It's just 25 seconds. We've got these short bursts of explosive power. What can you dig in and find? Where can you recruit strength and power to last till the very end of this interval? And rest. All right. So we got through our first 4 rounds, and we're moving now into a new pair of exercises. So the first one is our squat thruster, and then we're doing jump squats. Grab your weight. Feet are about hips-width distance apart, maybe a bit wider. We're squatting down. Power up, weights go overhead. Sit back, weight is in the heels, spine is straight and strong. Power up overhead. You got this. So use the power in the legs to help you get through that full range of motion. And notice, we're not swinging the weights. It's a steady power all the way up. We're staying on under tension the whole way down. So control the descent. Let there be no rush here. Weight is shifting back in the heels. We're going right into our jump squats. After this, here we are. So your low impact, it's just a lift of the heels and sweeping the arms nice and quick. If you're picking it up, jump, squat and tap. So you touch the floor, tap overhead. Keep breathing here. We've got a full 20-second rest coming up. And rest. You got this. About 15 more seconds. And then we're right back to that squat thruster for round 2. Each of these patterns we're doing for 4 rounds. And here we go. Toes turn slightly out, heels slightly in. I'll show from the side so your chest stays up the whole time as you press. So you're sitting back into a chair, weight is in the heels, and pressing up. If the weight gets too heavy, you can always drop to 1 dumbbell. Find your power here. Press through the heels. Find those deep breaths on the way down, and then forceful exhale on the exertion. Last 3, 2, 1. Set your weights down carefully, right into your jump squat. We're here. This is where our work is. Dig deep. Find your explosive power. How can you get a little bit higher, a little bit stronger? These ovulatory phase workouts are a great opportunity to improve conditioning. And rest. 20 seconds here. Collect your breath. Towel off, grab a drink. You can feel that heart rate pushing into the vigorous working zone. So we come back down a little bit here to ramp up for our third round of thrusters. Here we go. Sit nice and low. Press up strong. Sit back and down. Weight is in the heels and press up. You got this. Strong, strong legs here. This is a whole body movement. So we can enjoy these complex movement patterns in the ovulatory phase. Mind and body are open. We're ready for a challenge. We're ready for something new, something that gives us that glow, something that lights us up from the inside out. All right, let the weights come down. We're into our jump squats. I'm gonna take the low impact option here. Leave a bit of fuel left in my tank for our last round. Take what you need here. What adjustments do you need to make to keep every rep as strong as the first? And rest. Nice work. We've got one more round of the squat complex here. So this squat series really recruiting everything you have in the legs. Let's finish strong. Grab your weights. Toes turn out, heels turn in. Here we are. Find your power in the upper body and notice that your whole belly wraps around to support you in every phase of this movement. So all the way down and all the way up. There's no point in the movement where you can check out. You have to stay present. We're almost there with this interval. Let's finish strong. Feel that power in the last few reps, the last bit of range here, and rest. Right into your jump squats. We got this. Let's finish strong. Tap the floor and reach up. You can be in the low impact. There's so much work to be done there. Deep belly breaths. We're almost there. In 3, 2, and 1. Excellent job. So we're getting ready now for our bear crawl row. So there's a few options here. You can take it in a tabletop or go full bear crawl. So I'll show tabletop first. We're here. Elbows straight back. The arms are hugging in close to the body. The chest and shoulders stay square to the ground, as do the hips. If you're taking this into bear crawl, the knees are hovering, adding a bit of core stability and challenge. And then if you're on your knees, we're still there in the work. So depending on your weight selection, this might feel like a bit too much for the low back. If that's the case, stay in your strong table row. We're going straight into our bear crawl reach. So we start in the bear crawl position. 1 foot, 2 feet, reach up. You can always add the hop here. So it's back and up. We're just going back to the bear crawl, hopping feet to hands and lifting. Either just onto the toes or having that little jump. and rest. Excellent job. So that's our first round in this core supported weighted movement pattern here. So come back into your table or your bear crawl stance. We'll get ready in 5, 2, and 1. So it's a bear crawl or a table. We're just doing a row. The shoulders stay out of it, so keep the elbows hugging in super close to the body. They may want to wing out. So if you're tight in the chest or have any imbalance, weakness in the upper back, you might find your elbow wants to do this. Hug it in. Keep the work in the back muscles. Get strong. Wrap the belly into the spine here. Use your breath. So forceful exhale on the exertion as you lift. And we're back to the bear crawl reach. Here, starting in that strong bear crawl, feet to hands, lift up. Back to bear crawl and forward. You got this. Hop back and forward. Back and forward. Lift. So again, you have your low impact options here. And rest. Take them when you need them. The low impact does not equal easy. There is, through mind-body connection, there's so much work to be done in the low impact range. So find your choice here. We're moving in 3, 2, 1 into that row. So really hug the elbows into the midline. They go straight up and back. The heart is stretching forward. This is our third round. I'm going to come down to knees because the weight is feeling heavy. It's so funny how it gets heavier as you go through. So, what do you need to do? Where do you need to adjust? We've got high estrogen hormones, so there's a little bit of an ego conversation, especially with that surge of testosterone around this time. Where can you check your ego? Have a kind conversation with her, and then go into the table reach. So, even though this is our power phase, we need not push too far. We want to preserve energy levels. So that means we're tapping into our well of endorphins, but we leave with more than we arrived with. And rest. We have another round. One more set of these. Coming into our bear crawl. Again, I'm staying on my knees for this one. Take the option that works for you. Breathe through it. So as we near the last heavy weighted working set, what do you need to do? What do you have to create in terms of mindset to stay strong till the very end? Keep working, keep breathing. Last 3, 2, and 1. Straight into that bear crawl tap. Bear crawl reach. Here we go. Feet step forward. Let me lift up. Feet step back. You can alternate sides here. Go back with the left, and then back with the right. Dig deep here. Last 3, 2, stay with it. 1, all the way till the end. We've got our 20-second rest here. Towel off, grab water. So we have our last weighted movement pattern now. We're coming into a straight leg deadlift. So I'll show it from the side here. The shoulders are back and down, feet are hips width distance. The weights come in a straight line. It's a hinge at the hips with a gentle bend in the knees, and then power up, gentle squeeze at the top. So nice bend in the knees here, but more or less straight legs. The shoulders are relaxed back and down, and the weights are moving in that one straight line. So it's a hip hinge to let the weights just move straight up and straight down. We're here. Find a bit of power on the way up as you press through the heels and send the hips forward. So we're not tucking them under, but they come into that strong neutral stance at the top. After this movement pattern, we're coming into our sprawl. So set the weights down. I'll demo the low impact version first. So we're starting in our squat. We step back and forward, lift the hands. Step back and forward, lift the hands. You can add some power, jump back and forward. So we come into that strong plank where the hips aren't hiking up. They're not drooping down. We're strong the whole way. And rest. That interval went by really fast. We've just got 3 more rounds of that, and then we come down for our core work. So set your weights up here. Again, these straight leg deadlifts, we want to stay out of the lower back. So draw the belly in. It's a hip hinge. We reach down, and the weights come straight up in one line. So really press the shoulder blades onto the upper back to keep your shoulders and neck neutral, relaxed, nice and easy. The work here is in the posterior chain, the backs of the legs. We've got that challenging weight, so really focus on your form here. Pressing through the heels as the hips hinge back, and try to keep the hips aligned with the ankles. So we're not reaching too far back with the hips, but they're staying in that safe working alignment. Now to our sprawl, 25 seconds here, hopping back to plank and jumping to the squat, lifting the hands if you can, creating a bit of hang time where feet and hands are off the mat. It's a bit of a coordination challenge, but now is the time for that. Finish the interval and rest. So if you're new to the sprawl, the ovulatory phase is a really fun time to try that new pattern and to be playful. So you might lose your balance. It might not look or feel the way you want it to, but just stay in it. We've got our third round here of the straight leg deadlift, belly strong. Keep the shoulders relaxed, steady breath. We're in the home stretch of our workout. How can you stay strong through to the very end? You showed up, so be here. This is your time. This is your workout. This is your self-care. How can you create that added bit of body awareness, bit of listening to make it through the end, feeling strong, really glowing in this phase of the cycle? Back to our sprawls. Here we go, 25 seconds. So keep that strong plank. It's just a tap, so we stay really light in the feet. It's almost like a flutter. You're just back. There's a quickness to it. That's part of the power element of fitness. And rest. We've got one more round of these straight leg deadlifts, and then we're onto the mat for some focused core work. We're going in 10 for our last set of deadlifts here. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Grab your weights. Stay strong. Feel this in the backs of the legs. You can always drop down to one weight. If it gets to be a bit too heavy, you can slow the pace. Keep weight under tension. The muscles under tension the whole way up and the whole way down. Slow and controlled. Resist the urge to let momentum take over. Notice if your low ribs or your low belly is puffing, can you draw it back? Stay integrated from start to finish. We're here. Last few reps. Go all the way to the end of the interval. And then we'll set the weights down. 25 seconds. Let's burn it out. This is where you burn bright. This is where you find that glow from the inside out. So tap into that here. This is where you shine when it gets hard. And rest. Excellent, excellent job. So we're coming down into a side plank with a push-up. So again, the push-up is something you can take or leave. You can be on the forearm coming through if that works better for you. So it's just a side plank. Open the arm, find your strong side plank. Come through center, push up. It can be as high or as low as you need. And then to the other side. Through center, push up. So we're switching up the pattern here. We have our body weight movement pattern. And then for the 25-second interval, we're going to hold a plank. So you'll find a dynamic movement pattern and then an isometric hold. For the last 6 minutes or so of this workout, 4 minutes it might be. Hold your plank, 25 seconds. Press into all 10 finger pads. Send your heart forward. Keep your gaze out in front of you. Hug the heels of the hands toward the ball mounds of the feet. Feel your belly awaken and engage. We're almost there. Breathe here. 3, 2, and 1. Come down to a seat. Find one weight here, or you can do this without weight. We're doing a Russian twist press. So you can keep the feet down on the mat, or you can add a bit of challenge by lifting the feet up. I'll show the first variation here with the feet down. It's a twist and press up. We're here for the 45-second interval. So if your weight selection was a bit heavy, you might be feeling this already after all this work. So for me, that means keeping the feet on the ground. If you're body weight only, you can keep your feet up and pick up the pace just a little bit. Squeeze the legs to the midline. So hug the big toes, the inner thighs, the inner knees together. We're here in this dynamic movement for 3, 2, 1, and then it's a boat hold. So you can drop your weights, find your strong boat. So the key here, spine is lifted, heart is elevated. If that means bringing hands and feet to the mat, stay there. Keep the work in the belly. So we don't want to be rounding here. You want to lift up, hug thighs to belly, belly to thighs. Squeeze the legs to the midline. 2 and 1. Rest. We've got 20 seconds here to set up for our next movement pattern. We're going to be doing plank up down. So we're going from plank on the hands to forearms. Just back, up and back. We've got 3, 2, 1. Find your strong plank. You lower down one forearm at a time and back up. I like to alternate sides. And the key here is to keep your hips and your shoulders square. They're going to want to pop open. Can you resist that by keeping the belly integrated, engaged the entire time? You're almost there. Let's finish strong, finish connected, finish with that deep breath. The hips stay nice and low here. So our holding pattern, our isometric pattern, we're going back to the plank. So you can be on your hands or on your forearms. For the last 25 seconds, we're here. Sometimes stillness is the hardest work. So if you're on hands, hugging heels of the hands and ball mounds of the feet together. If you're on forearms, press your forearms down and drag them energetically back to fire up the belly. Last few big breaths here. 2 and 1. Coming back to a seat for our final movement pattern. We're doing V-ups. So we're finishing with a bang. Your V-ups, you have lots of options. You can be on the back here if it's too much in your low back, or you can go for full extension. So we're here, V up and back. So fully extend, tap hands to toes. You can also take it one leg at a time if that allows you to keep with better form from the beginning to the end. Release and engage. Stretch, create space, and then move into that space. So in this ovulatory phase, we're clearing, we're sweating and metabolizing excess estrogen, clearing space, and really working into our endorphins to fuel us for the second half of the cycle that's just around the corner. We're in our boat hold. Once again, let's finish strong. So you can be here with the hands supporting. You can have your toes down. Or if you want to turn it up just for the last 12 seconds, straighten the legs, reach the arms, keep your heart elevated. Find a bit of trembling. Your muscles are excited. We're almost there. 3, 2, and 1. Let it go. So finished. Super strong there. Excellent, excellent work. You can stay seated if that feels right for you. If your heart rate is super elevated still, you might want to come up and have a bit of larger range of motion just to bring your heart rate down. If you're staying seated with me, just allow your body to circle for a few moments. So we feel that release that comes at the end of a workout, where we have a glow that we created from the inside that will last us through the rest of the day. So in the ovulatory phase, where baseline metabolism is still a bit lower, we can take advantage of the EPOC effect. So burning more calories after your workout for about a 24-hour period. We can do that here without moving into depletion. So these quick, short workouts that really let us use our explosive power, they support us for much longer than just this period of movement. So I hope that you'll stick with us for our cool down, which is coming next. But if you are cooling down in your own way, and this is where we part, I want to thank you so much for showing up and giving it your all today. And I hope to see you again very soon. We'll move into our cooling sequence now. So to begin our cool down, after that hard lower body focused work, we're going to come into a comfortable seat here and let your feet be a bit out in front of you, so ankles are in front of the knees. You can let your hands come behind you, either fingers pointing forward, or if you have wrist sensitivity, it can feel good to bring them out to the side. We're moving into an upward table just to create some space in the front body. So lifting the hips up here, really pressing down through the hands, stretching across the chest. You may even let your head drop back if that feels good in your neck. So just kind of creating a bit of expansion where we were contracted for that last bit of core work here. And then you can let your seat come back down, extend your legs out long, shake them out. Cross your right foot to the outside of your left knee. Press the sole of your left forward, the sole of your right foot down. Coming into a twist here, reach the left arm high. Keep stretching the spine up, and without hooking right at first, just start to rotate using the muscles of the belly to the right. So really draw the belly in, create that twist with the muscles of your abdominal wall, and then hook the elbow to the outside of knee. You can also just hug the knee if that's more supportive in your spine. You might bring the hands to prayer, pressing palms into each other, softening the shoulders. So the hips, heart, and head in one line here, gazing over right shoulder, really pressing and keeping the legs engaged here to facilitate a deeper twist. And just a bit of rinsing for the belly and spine here. Come back through center nice and slow. So maybe even a bit of a counter twist if you need it to find your neutral spine. Keep the right ankle crossing over left knee. Start to bend your left knee, bring the left foot to the mat. Figure 4 stretch here in a seated position. So really dial the right knee open. If you can, heel toe the front heel a bit closer to deepen the stretch. Right foot stays flexed, belly's moving toward the thighs. So really flushing and creating space in the outer hips here. Our legs did so much work for us today. So really sending waves of gratitude through the low body and just sit in celebration and in awe of yourself and everything you've done already today. Know that it is enough. And you can release, extend your left leg back out. Bring the sole of your right foot to your inner left thigh. Coming into head to knee pose. So right knee is straight out to the side. Tilt your pelvis slightly forward. If you need to, you can bend that left knee any amount. Reach the arms up, inhale. And as you exhale, fold over that left leg. So at first, just sort of targeting the back of the left leg here. Pressing into the left heel, energetically dragging it back toward the left sitting bone. Then you can take your right hand to the outer left foot. And then as you pull your right hand on your left foot, can you anchor your right hip crease down and sort of press it in the opposite direction to create a bit of stretch in the right side waist, the right low back, especially after some of the deadlifts, the bear crawl rows, anywhere where your lower back may have participated a bit, just really giving it some love here. And slowly come back up. We'll switch sides now. Extend your right leg out. Cross your left foot over to the outside of your right knee. Find your straight and strong spine here. Right arm reaches. Then as you exhale, twisting, using the strength of your belly first, and then hooking the elbow. So again, the sitting bones stay firmly planted. You can bring your hands to prayer, to heart center. You can let your gaze begin to soften, maybe even the eyes close. You can turn your head over your left shoulder here. Maybe find the corners of your mouth start to lift. Find a bit of a smile. And that inner gaze reflecting on what you've just given to your body through self-care, through your practice. And then slowly release, coming mindfully out of the twist. Bend into your right knee. Keep that right ankle crossing over right knee. And then use the fingertips to straighten the spine. So really lifting the heart tall, softening the shoulders. And then heel toe the right foot in a little bit closer until you feel the sensation that you need. Bringing the belly toward the thighs. Deep stretch for the outer hips here. If you're like me, dropping into stillness can be a bit of a challenge after a high intensity workout. So you can just find those waves of movement as your body starts to come back to neutral, come back to that steady place. Release your right leg out. Bring the left foot to the inner right thigh. Again, you can have any bend in the knee that feels good here. Reach the arms overhead. And as you exhale, fold over that right leg. Finding some space in the right hamstring here. Notice your breath. Is it slowing down? Can you keep that connection now through the rest of your day? Let it guide you. Let it create more space between what you experience and how you respond to it. Take your left hand to the outer right foot. And as you pull back on that foot, really anchor the left hip crease down. Find some space in the low spine, the left side waist. Slowly coming up, let the soles of the feet touch for a cobbler pose here. Just kind of pressing one hip out to the side and then the other. Kind of a final release here. Bring your feet to the mat, windshield wiper your knees side to side. So you feel that heat on your skin once the the sweat slows down a bit, and all that's left is the glow. that radiant energy outward. We'll come back to center here. We'll enjoy one more side bend. So reaching the arms up and overhead. And then take your left hand down, reach your right arm up and over to the left. Switching sides, come through center and exhale to the other side. Come back up. Let your hands rest for a moment and give yourself 3 very deep breaths here. You might even close the eyes. Just be curious for a few moments to notice anything that is arising for you. Notice what you are taking from the first half of the cycle as we reach this pivotal moment of ovulation. What are you carrying with you to keep you strong and on track through the second half? And what are you leaving here? So what are you shedding? What are you releasing? What are you letting go of? So that you can really nurture yourself in these coming days, in the upcoming phase. If your eyes are closed, let them blink open. And I want to thank you again so much for joining me here today, for letting your body move, and for really tuning in to your personal rhythm so that you can live in deep alignment with your true nature. I hope to see you soon.